we are starting to see private companies take public sector government entities, shall we call it, to court for procurement breaches. So we've seen this recently. There's, I think it's a 958 million bid with Sopra Steria, who've made a claim that their rival bid that I think was successful, or something else that happened with it, was abnormally low and it would never have worked. And I think that is this case in point where we're putting so much time as a business, as a company, into writing bids and proposals, and then it's not going anywhere. It's either refused or no one gets awarded nothing, and then everybody just start the process again, like sometimes a few months later, sometimes the following year, because they've not prepared themselves fully for said opportunity or not asked the right questions or whatever. And sometimes when we see bids go out to tender and then nothing gets happened with them and then they go back out again, they've used the first experience as a fishing expedition, essentially, of knowing what to ask or not ask. And I don't know the full details of this case, but I'm glad to see that it's happening, because we can have the Procurement Act, we can have all these rules and regulations, but if no one does anything about it, or no one's held to account about it, or no one really understands just how difficult writing a bid is, or understanding a tender, let alone responding to one, and then someone making a decision. I think because there's so many variables, and then people never quite get it, like why they've not been successful. And it is really hard to do. And I know firsthand that you can write the best thing, you can do all the research, you can do all the things, and you're not going to win necessarily. And it can come down to a lot of different reasons. It's personal choice at the end of the day of who they actually want to work with or who they want to give the money to. And you don't necessarily know what's going on in their head, do you? Or what they actually want from you, essentially. So we can give out the best advice, we can do all the things by the book, we can do our very best, but sometimes it just doesn't happen. So, I think there's so many variables with this, and that's where the businesses get to this point where they get frustrated and they don't want to enter the bid or the tender process because they're like, well, we never win anyway. And then people don't get any feedback, and the feedback you do get is not worth the paper it's printed on. So it's just this constant battle, isn't it, of doing the right thing. So I think more companies should be doing that. I think there should be a lot more visibility. I know in America, for example, they have a lot more visibility over bids and tenders in terms of who's won, what they've won on, full details are disclosed. That needs to happen. And then that is the only way that people are going to be accountable. But while we still have this situation here in the UK and in other countries as well, where that just doesn't happen. So people are just allowed to get away with it, and then everything continues as it was, doesn't it?